Hi, trumpets. Mr. Y here, obviously, coming at you today with the A-flat concert scale. We did 1 and 2 a couple weeks back, so if you haven't done 1 or 2 yet, make sure you go back and do 1 or 2. That's going to be the building blocks on which 3, 4, and 5 are built, of course. Today we're doing 3, 4, and 5, though. It's the same pattern as all the other scale sheets we did. 1 and 2 were just basic scales. I mean, number 1 was just the basic scale up and down with the arpeggio. Number 2 is the triplet thing, up, 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 you know, in 6/8 time. Number 3, 4, and 5. Number 3, we have a scale in thirds, basically. So you're kind of doing 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, all the way up the scale. Not really any fingering issues here or anything, as long as you remember the key signature, of course. Always, always, always check your key signature. In this case, we've got B flat and we've got E flat. Okay, B flat's pretty easy. You know, all your B's are going to be flat. And in this case, by the way, we're going to have a low B flat and a high B flat because the first note of the scale is B flat and also the top note of the scale is B flat. So watch out. So watch out. Those are both B flat, first finger. Also, the one in the middle is the E flat, of course. E flat is 2 and 3. If you did have a high E flat, it would be different. It would be just 2, but we don't in this case have any high ones. So that's just 2 and 3. Okay? Really, number 3 is just about, you know, the thirds. Like I said, if you have a treble spot, if you find you have a treble spot, go and do just a couple of notes. So you might do something like right at the very beginning. I mean, just practice those couple notes at once, and then add a third one. Okay, when you got that down, add a fourth. Again, watch that E flat, okay? I have trouble on those low notes. That low A, the second to last note, remember? Just like the high A, first and second valve. Okay. Other than that, there's not really too much that's difficult on number 3. Number 4. We have the same notes. Remember the same B flat and E flat. In this case, you've got some articulation things to worry about. On number 4, the first line, you've got 2 slurred notes and then 2 staccato notes. Okay, so T, yacht, tot, tot, T, yacht, tot, tot kind of a thing all the way up and down. On the second line, you've got the opposite. You've got the 2 staccatos and then the 2 slurs. So tot, tot, T, yacht, tot, tot, T, yacht, all the way down. Okay. Other than that, it's all the same. Like I said, same thing on this. If you find you have a treble spot, you may just want to practice 2 or 3 or 4 notes at once. Sometimes the 4-note groupings work pretty well on this one. For instance, you know, making sure to get the notes right and the articulation right too. If you have trouble with the notes or the rhythm, you could take away the articulation and just do until you get it really good, and then add the slurs back in. Okay, so again, number 4, no different notes here. We've got 1 high C that goes up a little higher. We've got 1 low A that goes a little bit lower, but other than that, the notes are all on the scale. So here we go. Like I said, super slow motion at first. Take it really, really slow. And now we have number 5. Number 5 does have some different notes in it, of course, because this is kind of the chromatic variation of the scale. At the very beginning, first of all, we've got the B flats, we've got the E flats still in the key signature. Okay. At the very beginning this time, we do have a low A natural. Be careful about that. The second note of the song is a low A natural. And the second last note is also a low A natural, just like last time. You've still got B flats and E flats in the key signature, but there are a lot of accidentals scattered through the whole song. So for instance, in the first measure, you've got a couple of B flats, but then you've also got 1 B natural in the first measure. So be careful about that, middle valve for that one. In the second measure, you've got the C sharp, which is all 3 valves, one of those rare all 3 valve notes on the trumpet. Can you remember what the other one is? Okay, in the third measure, you've got 1 E natural. Okay, remember E flats in your key signature, 2 and 3, but you do have 1 E natural, 1 and 2 in the third measure. You've got an F sharp also in the third measure, that's middle valve. Okay. In the fourth measure, you've got a G sharp, that's 2 and 3, so be careful about that. Any of these you need to write in or whatever, go ahead, that's fine. Okay. And then on the second line coming back down is exactly the same notes, just coming back down the scale instead of going up. So you still got the G sharp, you still got the F sharp, you still got the C sharp, you still got the B natural, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, if you have a trouble spot, take just those 2 notes or those 3 notes, or quite often, actually on number 5, 4 notes works really well. I mean, until you get it really good, and then that second 4 notes, and then put them all together. You know, that kind of thing, and build it up a little bit at a time. Practicing is not once, practicing is a whole bunch of times. Okay, so number 5. I'm going to sit this way so you can see my fingers. The hardest note for me seems to be that low A natural. That's a lot of trouble for me. I don't know why. I do have fairly big lips, and low notes are not my favorite thing on the trumpet. That's kind of why I went to the euphonium. They work a lot better on euphonium for me. Okay? You have my email if you have any questions. Good luck with it.